Happy Friday, everybody. We have made it, almost anyway, to the weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. Memorial Day, of course, will be on Monday. All the usual Memorial Day commemorative and commemorations and all that stuff will be observed. They'll drop the traditional wreath off the pedestrian bridge on the Columbia River. There'll be ceremonies in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, all that stuff. Don't forget Monday. We won't be here Monday, by the way. We have Monday off. Thank you very much. And quite frankly, I could use a 3-day weekend. It's been a while. 48 degrees. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We have high clouds right now, and we're going to have high clouds most of the day today. Significant cool down on Saturday, a little wind, but we'll have some sunshine. We'll have more sunshine Saturday than what we're going to see today, but the temperatures are going to be pretty cool for this time of the year. Then we rebound. All in all, the Memorial Day weekend weather forecast isn't too bad. It could be worse. Those details are on the way. There is a lot of news to get to. Pretty busy day in the newsroom. We'll touch on all the stuff that you need to know. In sports, we're down to, I think, 6 local teams who have a chance to take home some hardware. This weekend, the Kashmir girls softball team was eliminated from the state playoffs. Yesterday, we'll have the scores and also highlights of yesterday morning's Mariner loss to the Yankees. We'll have that in sports. Speaking of sports, Chris Clark will be joining me in the back half of the program, the associate head coach of the Wenatchee Wild. Get a little off-season catch-up with Clarkie. We're also going to talk about billet families. Now that the Wenatchee Wild are part of the WHL, the Western Hockey League, it's a larger organization with more lower-tiered teams, and all of these players need places to stay, plus other cool hockey talk with Chris Clark. We'll have that for you in the back half of the program. And let's start our tour around the valley with the valley proper. Same angle we used yesterday. You can see that little protuberance in the lower left-hand corner of Wenatchee Heights. You can barely make that out because we have this camera tilted up pretty good. And you can see the high clouds. And what you see right now is pretty much what we're going to have today. Lots of high clouds. And then a weak little short wave, which is kind of slowed down a little bit. It was supposed to visit us today. It's actually going to visit us overnight tonight into Saturday, which is why we're going to cool down quite a bit and even see some wind on Saturday. But Saturday's afternoon high will be about 10 degrees below normal. Again, those details are on the way. To Lake Wenatchee we go, and if you look at the north face and dirty face, all the snow is now pretty much gone. It continues to recede up in the Cascade foothills as well. Good morning to Lake Wenatchee. Sunrise this morning was at 5:14. The sun will be at its apex at 12:58, high in the sky, and it comes back down over the Cascades to the west side of the valley at 8:42. That buys us 15 hours and 29 minutes of daylight. We had 71, by the way, yesterday. McNeil Canyon, there's more high clouds up there. Good morning to Lake Chelan as we peek out over the tip and look down over the lake. Not quite full all the way, but it rarely is for Memorial Day weekend unless we have a really warm stretch of weather in May, and we really haven't had that. So we're close to the edge, close to being all the way full of Lake Chelan, but we're not there yet. And by the way, the water's going to be pretty cold if you plan on dipping in Lake Chelan this weekend for Memorial Day weekend. Speaking of Lake Chelan, here's another angle of it from our Union Valley camera. You can actually see the water line there from Union Valley. That is on the north shore of Lake Chelan, looking down towards the south shore of the lake. And of course, the mountains and the hills are still very, very green for this time of the year, although we are well behind our annual rainfall. We're about over a half an inch behind where we should be for this time of the year. From the National Weather Service in detail, that all-important holiday weekend forecast. Clouds for the most part today. High clouds floating in, floating out, filtered sunshine, if you will, but the clouds will have the upper hand. Not low-hanging clouds. They'll be up there in the atmosphere a little bit, but fairly cloudy. It'll keep our temperatures down a little bit, about 68 for the overnight low. Overnight tonight, while you're sleeping, the clouds are going to clear out. The wind will be picking up in intensity a little bit. We'll get down to 46 for the overnight low. As you can see, we're only going to get to 64 tomorrow, or normal high is 74. But at least we'll have some sunshine. It is going to be a little breezy on Saturday and on Saturday night, for that matter. Pretty consistent wind, as a matter of fact, about 15 miles an hour on Saturday night. Overnight low of about 44. Sunday, 69, lots of sunshine, very little wind. That's about perfect. Monday looks even better with a high of 74 for the Memorial Day holiday. Tuesday, slightly cooler, but still some sunshine and a high of 71. Then we cool down again on Wednesday and Thursday as we say goodbye to May and welcome June. Year's almost halfway over. Wow. flying right by. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the news, and there's a lot of it. It's an adult portion of news, but we don't check identification. It's 2 minutes away. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held each year on the third Saturday in June. Pick your thrill from 3 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, or the Lake Loop. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful 1-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Let's go! Put your hands together for the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball, people. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Town Toyota Center on June 16th. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
High clouds, we are at 51 degrees. We'll be in the upper 60s today with high clouds filtering the sunshine. A lot of sunshine Saturday, but considerably cooler and quite windy. Then we have some very nice temperatures and some pretty good weather Sunday and Monday. It's just about 8 minutes after the hour. One motorcyclist is dead and his passenger critically injured. This followed a head-on collision on Highway 97A yesterday afternoon. According to the Washington State Patrol, just before 5 o'clock, a northbound 2014 BMW R1200 motorcycle was being driven by 59-year-old Wilhelm M. Penders of Winthrop. The motorcycle was attempting to pass a vehicle when his cycle struck a southbound 2003 Nissan 350Z in the southbound lane. Both Penders and his passenger, 60-year-old Christine L. Dunn, also from Winthrop, they were thrown from the motorcycle. Penders later died at Confluence Health. Dunn was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. The driver of the Nissan, 32-year-old Marcus Hurto of Chelan, was taken by ambulance to Confluence Health with unknown injuries. The accident fully blocked Highway 97A near the Navarre Coulee cutoff for at least a couple of hours. 2 people are dead after a 2-vehicle accident. This happened Thursday morning near Ephrata out in Grant County. Specifically, it happened at about 4 in the morning near the junction of Highway 17 and Highway 282, just south of Ephrata. The Washington State Patrol has yet to identify the people killed in the incident. No details have been made public yet about how the crash may have occurred. Highway 282 was closed for about 6 hours yesterday during that crash investigation. The Rock Island man who spent nearly 6 years in jail awaiting trial for the alleged murder of his wife may soon be transferred to a state prison. 74-year-old Ululi Tulilo is charged in the 2018 death of his wife Peggy, allegedly in a domestic violence assault. Last week, Douglas County Judge Brian Huber approved Tulilo's motion to be held by the Washington Department of Corrections after the Chelan County Jail recorded 2 confidential phone calls between the defendant and his attorney. Now, inmate calls are routinely recorded unless the number that they speak to is registered at the jail. Jail staff said they didn't listen to the content of those conversations, but Huber ruled on May 17th that the recording has a chilling effect on Toledo's attorney-client privilege. Jail Chief of Operations Sean Larson told the court last week that he's requested to board Toledo in a state facility. The Department of Corrections has yet to act on that request. Wenatchee police say there is no sign of foul play after that body was found a couple of days ago underneath the Riverfront Walk pedestrian bridge right along the Burlington Northern Santa Fe rail line. It was a makeshift homeless camp. Police Captain Brian Chance issued a press statement identifying the deceased as 33-year-old Justin V. Adams of East Wenatchee. Chance says the police were called to the 100 block of North Columbia Street at about 8 a.m. for a report of a woman screaming. They were unable to find the source of the disturbance, but they did find Adams's body in a camp underneath the Riverwalk Crossing pedestrian bridge. He had no personal identification on him. The Chelan County Coroner's Office identified Adams through fingerprints. Chance says investigators are still looking into the cause of his death, but they don't think it was suspicious. A Spokane suspect wanted for the last 3 years on an outstanding Chelan County warrant. Well, they finally got a hold of him. He was arrested earlier this week. 21-year-old Jake E. Humphreys is accused of setting up a cocaine sale in Wenatchee with Columbia River Drug Task Force agents back in 2021, and then he drove away when they closed in to make the arrest. Police say they recovered about 2 ounces of cocaine when they found Humphreys' abandoned vehicle later on. They also say they found a firearm that was allegedly tossed from the car during a high-speed chase. A co-defendant, Kehlani J. Keeney of Spokane, was arrested and pleaded guilty to cocaine possession with intent, but Humphreys avoided capture until this week. He's currently free on a $50,000 bond. He's scheduled to be arraigned on June 5th. And the Environmental Health Department and the Chelan-Douglas Health District has begun transitioning to a new permitting and licensing platform. It's called SmartGov. It's designed specifically for government agencies. The software change will allow the public to pay and apply online for services offered by Environmental Health. It'll also give applicants the ability to track the status of their permits and their request inspections. The software transition is not expected to interfere with any existing software applications. It'll be completed within the coming weeks. And that's what's making news at 12 minutes after the hour. One more newscast before we get to scatter to the winds for a 3-day weekend. It'll come your way tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. That's 5, 6, and 10 on television. If you consume your news via the World Wide Web because you have a smart TV or a tablet or whatever it is, we got you covered there too. Our evening news will be up and running right around 5 o'clock. On our Facebook page. It'll be up and running on our homepage, ncwlife.com. It'll be on our YouTube page. You can check out our X account, our app, our Instagram, whatever the case may be. If you haven't downloaded our app yet, you can do it right now. Pick up the telephone and zap away. And if there's something out there you think is newsworthy, you send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. The prep sports season wraps up with state championships this weekend. Who can still take home some hardware? We'll let you know with sports. It's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can lift this up time warranty.
Great, I want that one. I would like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Welcome to Gilded Lily Home, where something extraordinary is waiting. You'll be delighted to find an amazing selection of specialty foods and tabletop decor. Browse their uniquely curated collection of gifts. Shop for yourself in their wide collection of jewelry and clothing, and for your home with their amazing hand-selected furniture, lighting, and decor. The Gilded Lily Home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items for your home, your kitchen, and your lifestyle.
Quarter after the hour, Louis Gill outdueled Louis Castillo. Yeah, the battle of the Louis, but Louis Gill got the better part of it. He had 6 1/3 sterling innings. The Yankees beat the Mariners 5-0 yesterday in the Bronx. Home runs by Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge powered New York.
High drive, center field. Rodriguez back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. See ya! Into Monument Park. A long home run for Stanton. 1-0 Yanks. Stanton said, don't forget about me. I know how to go deep too. Way back dead center field. Man, wasting no time. How much you got? He's got a lot. Deep to center field. Rodriguez back. Track. Wall. See ya! Into the Yankee bullpen. A home run for Judge. His 15th. It's 2-0 Yanks. Another two-seamer right out over the center part of the plate. Not trying to do too much. Stay center of the ball. And if you could stop a picture right there on impact, put that poster in your room, kids, because that's the way you want to hit a baseball.
Pitch to Rizzo with the bases loaded. They got him! That is big. Castillo flex, you know it. He escapes a bases loaded situation here in the 5th to keep it at 2-0. There it goes, got a good break. Throw down to second by Sebe. Safe. Cabrera on the move. He's now 3 for 3.
And we're going to take a look at it. Strong throw from Zavala. Looked like he was out.
Yeah, Andy Bissell on the case again. Take a look at that.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Seattle will retain their challenge.
Ground ball through for a base hit. Volpe scores. It's an RBI single for Soto. It's 3-0 Yanks. And that's a combined base hit there, Todd. He steals third, forces the infield in, ball squeezes through.
Yeah, and they just found.
Fly ball center field. Should be deep enough to score Soto. Rodriguez makes the catch. The throw comes to third. It's a sac fly for Verdugo. And it's a 4-0 Yankee lead. High fly ball. Deep right center. That's going to get in Judge. He tags and scores. Jones heads back to first. Sac fly for Rizzo, and the Yankees are up 5-0. That should be the final pitch, and that's the final out. Ball game. Yankees win 5-0. So the Yankees split the 4-game set. When you lose the first 2 of a 4-game set and you split, you certainly like it. So the Yankees get their 35th win. And they're 6-0-2 on home series this season. 6th time in franchise history they've done that. So good stuff for the Yankees as they continue to win. Now they head out.
Mariners road trip continues. No rest for the weary. They'll be in our nation's capital tonight. A 3-game set against the Nationals. First pitch this afternoon at 3:45. But the Mariners continue to lead the American League West by 3 games because the Rangers keep playing Philadelphia and keep losing to them. Phillies beat the Rangers 5-2. Philadelphia is just on fire, and the Athletics got by the Rockies. It took them 10 innings to do it, but the A's beat Colorado. The final there was 10-9. For the Cashmere girls softball team, their season came to an end. They were crushed by Seton Catholic in the opening round of the WIAA 1A State championship playoffs, Eaton Catholic 10, Cashmere 0. The other finals, yesterday in the opening round, Cascade Christian got by College Place 8-3. Lakeside out of 9 Mile Falls just snuck by Elma 3-2, and Royal crushed Kaloya. All right, Eastmont and Moses Lake. Looking for a little hardware this weekend. It starts today for the Wildcats. They'll take on Jackson, the number 2 seed, and the defending state champions. This will be a tough task for the Lady Wildcats. 9 a.m. in Richland. A couple hours later, Moses Lake will take on Emerald Ridge at 11 a.m. Eastmont will take on either the winner or the loser of Glacier Peak and Olympia. If they lose, they'll play at 5. If they win, they'll play at, if they lose, they'll play at 3. If they win, they'll play at 5. Same deal with Moses Lake. They'll take on either Puyallup or Skyview, depending on whether they win or lose. Same times later on today. In the 2A softball, Ephrata and Othello both looking for a chance to take home some hardware. Ephrata begins their quest this morning against Tumwater at 9 a.m. Othello will take on Olympic at 11 a.m. Same deal like Eastmont and Moses Lake. Ephrata will play either Enumclaw or Aberdeen, depending on whether they win or lose. Same deal with Othello. They'll take on either Kingston or Cedro Woolley, depending on who wins and who loses. 1B softball, Lake Roosevelt gets going today against Liberty. That's a 10 a.m. game, and that's a loser-out game. Okanagan got a first-round bye, so they get to sit around until 2 o'clock. They'll take on the winner of Toledo and Acosta, who also play at 10 o'clock this morning. And we can't forget about soccer. All 4 teams that you see there are the top 4 seeds in the state. Cascade number 1 will take on Overlake at 7 o'clock in the state 1A soccer semifinals. Royal will precede that. They'll take on Vashon Island at 4:30. And then tomorrow, the losers will play for the 3rd and 4th place game, and the winners of today's game will play for the state championship at 6 o'clock. Go local teams. We'll let you know how they all did after the holidays, and those are just some of the games that people are playing at 21 minutes after the hour. A lot of obscure holidays, a pretty good choice. It is National Aviation Maintenance Technicians Day. A lot of airlines pay their mechanics more than they pay their pilots. I mean, if you're a good airline mechanic, you're going to make some pretty good money, and who's kidding who? We want those guys to be really good at what they do for a living. It's Brothers Day. In case you have a brother, I have a lot. It's National Scavenger Hunt Day. It's National Escargot Day. So scarf down a couple of snails that are on me. National Don't Fry Day. That means, you know, take it easy when you're out in the sun. It's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people will be outside. Don't get sunburned. National Tiara Day. I don't wear one. Today, though, and I love asparagus. It's National Asparagus Day, and we're at the height of the asparagus season. I'll be down at the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market tomorrow morning picking me up as much asparagus as I can. A couple of tips, actually one tip. To properly store asparagus, you keep them wrapped up still in the rubber band, and you stand them up in a bowl of water in your refrigerator, so it will continue to suck up the water. Stays fresh. It's good. I love asparagus. And of course, asparagus is very, very good for you. It's got vitamin C, vitamin A, it's got folate, potassium, phosphorus, vitamin E, riboflavin, iron, zinc. It's all good for you. Asparagus has been cultivated for a long time, about 2,500 years, but here in the United States, asparagus has only been cultivated for about 150 years. Asparagus grows very fast. Under the right conditions, asparagus can grow up to 7 inches a day. And we grow a lot of asparagus here in Washington State. The top 3 producers of asparagus state-wise in this country. California is number 1, Michigan is number 2, and Washington is number 3. We supply a lot of asparagus to the rest of this country. And every time I eat asparagus, and then I go to the bathroom, well, we won't get into that. I love asparagus, just love it. I eat as much as I can this time of the year. Well, you still can when it's fresh. Today in history, they tried before, it didn't work. They had the lost colony of Roanoke. That was back in 1585. There were other failed attempts to establish a permanent colony here in America from the English, but this one finally took. May 24th, 1607, 417 years ago, 100 English settlers make it to Jamestown on the mouth of the James River. In Virginia, Jamestown is founded. It almost didn't make it. This was in 1607. In the winter of 1609 and 1610, about 80% of the remaining colonists died, mostly from starvation and disease. They were down to just a few, and they said, to hell with it, we're going to go back to England before we all die. But before they had a chance to leave, a resupply ship arrived and they were saved, and Jamestown continued on. But they almost said, "Nerds to this, let's just go home," but they didn't. Jamestown, the first permanent English colony in America, established on this date in 1607. Happy birthday to the Cathedral of Bridges. The Brooklyn Bridge opened its doors 141 years ago today. It's an absolutely stunning structure. You cannot go over the Brooklyn Bridge from Brooklyn into Manhattan and not be going to an unimportant place. It is an amazing bridge. It took a long time to build it, as you might imagine. This is 1883. It took them 14 years to build it, but it wasn't until 1915, 32 years after it opened, and was officially named the Brooklyn Bridge. It was the first big bridge in New York City. About 20 people died during the bridge's construction. And when it was built and opened on this date in 1883, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world by far. I mean, it was number one by leaps and bounds. It is an incredible bridge. And the really smart thing they did when they designed the Brooklyn Bridge and built it, the architects and the engineers realized that they put the pedestrian passageways on the edges of the bridge, it might tempt people to jump. And so they put the pedestrian access over the Brooklyn Bridge right in the middle of the bridge. Smart move there. Happy birthday to night baseball. It was the Depression. It's 1935. Some minor league teams have been trying some night baseball to get people needed entertainment and diversions from the Depression. Baseball, of course, Major League Baseball, most of their games started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon during the daylight. And they finally brought night baseball to the major leagues on this date in 1935 at Crosley Field in Cincinnati. The Reds beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1. As you can see, a pretty big crowd showed up. A lot of the old fogies in baseball said this night baseball thing is never going to catch on. Now, of course, the vast majority of Major League Baseball games are played at night, so people can go to them. This is the 43rd anniversary of the fiasco that was the 1981 Indianapolis 500. When it was all said and done, and it was all over on that Sunday, May 24th, Bobby Unser was declared the winner of the Indy 500 over Mario Andretti. But as we look at the second headline, 17 hours later, officials named Mario Andretti the winner of the 1981 Indianapolis 500. They said that we look back at the tape and Bobby Unser passed cars on the apron during a caution flag. Well, Bobby Unser's team protested the protest, and as we look at the third headline, in October of 1981, over 4 months after the actual race, they reversed their reverse and they declared Bobby Unser the winner of the Indianapolis 500 in 1981. So they gave the trophy to Bobby Unser, and then Bobby Unser had to give it to Mario Andretti, and then Mario Andretti had to give it back to Bobby Unser. Plus, what about the money? What if Mario said, hey, I already spent it? Anyway, that was pretty cattywampus. And on a completely different note, 2 years ago today, a mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. 21 people were killed. Of the 21 people who were killed, 19 were children and a couple of teachers. 18 others were wounded. 14 children were wounded, one teacher. Of course, the perpetrator shot his grandmother. 2 police officers were also shot but injured slightly. This was 2 years ago today, the Uvalde school shooting, and at 28 minutes after the hour. One heavenly birthday, you know you done good when they name an entire era after you. Queen Victoria of the Victorian age in England, when the English Empire was at its absolute apex, when Queen Victoria sat on the throne. And think about this. This is somebody who got their job by no other virtue other than just birth. No other qualifications to become queen or king except being born in the right family. She did a pretty good job, all things considered. She was the Queen of England for 63 years. She was born in the state in 1819. Somebody needs to tell Tommy Chong, he's 86 years old today. There's Tommy. Hey, Tommy, how are you? Yeah, I listened to Cheech and Chong records back in the 70s. Tommy Chong is 86 years old today. The only cast member of MASH who transitioned from the movie as Radar O'Reilly into the television show as Radar O'Reilly. Gary Berghoff, who won a couple of Emmys playing Walter Eugene Radar O'Reilly on MASH. He is 81 years old today. Just throw it up there. Go ahead. Bobby Zimmerman. Come on. There he is. Bob Dylan. That's all I got to say. I know he's an acquired taste, but to me, Bob Dylan, he's like it. America's Shakespeare. He's 83 years old today. I love you, Bob. Some of my coworkers don't. I love you. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor. That would be Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. You're probably not going to need air conditioning this weekend, but you know you're going to need it eventually. Make sure Alpine Air takes a look at your HVAC before it breaks down in the middle of July. You don't want that to happen. Special thanks to our friends at Pool to Spa Services. If you have a pool, you need chemicals. If you have a spa, you need chemicals. You keep them running right and looking good, plus all the other stuff, filters, things like that. They got them at Pool to Spa Services, and they carry the good stuff. And special thanks to our friends at Prestige Senior Living at the Colonial Vista campus, both in Wenatchee, their main campus, and their satellite campus in beautiful East Wenatchee. Mike McNaughty is going to try to win friends and influence people. And then Chris Clark, the associate head coach of the Wenatchee Wild. We need to talk a little hockey with Clarkie. Plus, he's a fun guy to hang around with. Chris Clark will be my guest when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I think we already have the legendary pizza, really, and I hope it just continues.
We have a free pizza slip. We get free pizzas, and if something happened to Abby's, we wouldn't have free pizza anymore. Think about that, huh?
No.
Yeah.
Every day is Taco Tuesday at Abby's. Our Taco Especial is on sale 7 days a week. Loaded with beef or chicken, onions, olives, tomatoes, cheddar cheese, and lettuce. It's a pizza that you won't forget. Dine in or order online for takeout or delivery right to your door.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie says we should be willing to admit when we're wrong. There's no shame in being wrong. And sometimes, Carnegie says, if we could only guarantee that we will be right only 51% of the time, we can go to Wall Street and get rich. Now, I try to remember that, and I try to be willing to admit when I've been wrong about something. Now, for example, I thought I had made a mistake yesterday, but I later realized that I hadn't. Okay? This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Check out ClubCrowCashmere.com for upcoming events and tickets.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Crown Furniture knows the most important part of a healthy and productive lifestyle is good quality sleep. The Englander Mattress Company is dedicated to manufacturing the best mattresses made in the USA. Englander chooses the finest materials made in the USA with a drive, dedication, and attention to detail, earning them a 99% satisfaction rating. Stop by Crown Furniture today on South Wenatchee Avenue and save up to 35% on select Englander mattresses. Welcome back to the program. Chris Clark, Associate Head Coach of the Wenatchee Wild, has an open invitation to visit this program whenever he wants to. He actually took me up on it, because when I said anytime you want to do the show, you can come do the show, Clark, yeah, but just be nice. I didn't mean it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I took it literally, but thank you for having me nonetheless.
Chris Clark, everybody, you look terrible. What are you doing to yourself,
I look
man?
the same as I did when you saw me 6 months ago.
How you doing? WHA, this was a good year. People go, hey, we got eliminated the first round of the playoffs, but gosh darn it, we have a quality hockey. I mean, quality hockey here in the Valley now. Top-notch stuff.
Honestly, it was a blast. And to think that it happened in June, to put a WHL team together in June to play this September. I can't speak enough about our staff, from Bliss through the front office to the coaches to the scouts to the trainers to everybody involved with our organization. It was a great year, honestly.
And the owners.
And yeah, of course, Mr. White and Mrs. White, David and Lisa. It took a full team effort to just make that happen. And then to get home ice in the first round of the playoffs, obviously we always want to play as long as you can, but I got to say, it was a complete team effort, and it was a great to be a part of.
I went to the second home game of the year just to see, because in the North American Hockey League and then the British Columbia Hockey League, I said, okay, I've heard this is the next step up. I wasn't really familiar with the WHA, and I went to either the second or third home game of the year, and it didn't take 5 minutes before you realized this is another level. Speed, size, agility, skill, everything was 2 steps up from the British Columbia Hockey League.
Yeah, it's an incredible league. I mean, you're dealing almost every night with probably an NHL first-round draft pick, or at least a second-round draft pick, which those guys are going to be quality NHL players at some point, and this is where they're at before that stage. And so you're right, you just can see the difference in size, speed, skill, team play, from a coaching standpoint, the strategy that goes involved, that if you don't have your players ready to go, from a tactical standpoint, it can be a long night. I mean, you're coaching against the Mike Johnsons of the world in Portland that have worked in the NHL.
You get found out real quick if you don't belong.
Yeah, you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
From a staff to players to everybody, that it was a lot of fun, I got to tell you.
Making the transition probably was somewhat easier, knowing that you had a front office group, Bliss and Lee and all of these people who have been in hockey forever.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't a bunch of green knobs and newbies. These people knew what they were doing. That probably helped making that transition.
100%. When you're led by Bliss Littler, he's done it all. He's seen it all, and this was obviously a new challenge for him as well. But just to see how prepared he was for everything. Again, people don't take for granted starting a team in June is next to impossible, and for him to lead that group, the entire group, not just the hockey side, but the front office side, having to explain to the Valley a whole new style of hockey. This is now, the third league we've been in. To try to get all that accomplished in basically 2 months, get a whole new group of players to move from Winnipeg to Wenatchee, all the draft picks, the import draft, to do all of that in basically 2 months is, I can't say enough about. I mean, it's next to impossible, and for Bliss and the entire staff to do that is hats off to them, because that was
after
incredible.
Bliss and Gretchen's kid Cade left the organization to continue on his hockey career. I asked Bliss, was there any thought about maybe, and all these changes were going on, is there any thought about, because Wenatchee loves you, any thought about maybe going elsewhere? And he looked at me and he goes, Gretchen looked at me and she said, we're not moving anywhere, honey. They're staying home. That was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's again, so many people on this staff have fallen in love with this valley, and we're extremely proud that the Western Hockey League is here, and it was such a great first year.
Record attendance too. Record attendance.
Again, Gretchen, David Rayfield, Maddie, Hallie, Austin, Jesse, all those people in the front office. can't say enough about them either. Like they did an unbelievable job.
Austin, if you're watching, he mentioned you 4th. Just wanted to let you know about that.
You're number 1 in my heart, Austin, okay?
You guys went through your very first WHL draft back on Thursday the 9th. This is something new for you guys. Talk about the process of deciding who you're going to pick if they're available. That whole draft process from a WHL standpoint, because this is now you're drafting real talent.
Yeah.
Talk about the whole draft process.
So Bliss and Lee have spent, and along with 5 other regional scouts throughout British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, they've been out all year while we've been playing. They've been out in different events watching this particular age group and putting lists together and having meetings. And then when you get about a week to 2 weeks before the draft, you start to compile a list of your top, however many it was, let's say 250. I don't know the exact number, but and they've been writing reports on these kids since back in September. And so then you get that list together, and then you kind of have an understanding. And I got to give these guys credit. I was lucky. One benefit from losing early was that I got to go to a couple events late, one in Alberta and one in BC. And to see the work that our scouts had done was incredible. You rate your kids and where you see them, and then they give me the packet as we're watching the kids, and I can see how they have all these kids rated, and they were dead on all these kids. And
do you draft into what we call the wild way? This is the way we go about doing our business exclusively, or do you, if this player lands in our lap, we're taking him and then we're going to teach him the wild way? Which of those two is probably more prevalent?
No, I think every organization has a specific type of player they want to draft, whether it be size, skill, position, need. For us, we needed a lot because of Winnipeg going for it the last few years. They didn't have a ton of draft picks, so our cupboard was pretty bare, let's be honest, and so we needed everything. But they definitely zeroed in on types of players that we feel will make us a championship caliber team when these kids are ready to get here.
Will you see some of these kids in September, October, or is it just a little ahead of schedule?
They're definitely on the early end of they can't play for us next year, but they will be here for training camp, so you will get your first view on them. But we're hoping a whole bunch of them will be ready the following year. But again, just going back to the job that those guys did, that as the draft was going on, how they had players ranked was actually pretty remarkable. That it was like, well, okay, you guys, obviously there's always going to be players that go up earlier or a little bit later, but for the most part, they were dead on where kids kind of fit in. And we were ecstatic to get Boston Tate with our first pick. He was a kid that we had rated extremely high that we never thought we'd have a chance at 12. And when we were lucky enough to get him, there was a happy scouting staff that.
Well, I'm assuming the Whites are ecstatic because Lee Meadows and your provincial scouts, they all got extensions and raises. That means they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, again, I can't give those guys enough credit that they did a fantastic job. Just again, being able to be at 2 events and watching how they had the kids ranked, and then getting to watch them myself. Not that I know anything, but it's pretty obvious when they have them all listed in order for you, and you're like, well, that's exactly how I would have listed them. It was pretty awesome that they do an extremely good job, and they work well together. It's 6 opinions to get to a final list. That's hard to do. I mean, you want people that have opinions. You don't want a bunch of people that just say yes, 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 or agree with everything. And those guys did an unbelievable job, and I can't wait for the Valley to get to see the work that they put in here in a few years when those kids are here, because we're extremely excited about the group we got.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the rest of the WHL season. Moose Jaw won the Ed Chenoweth Cup. That is the championship of the Western Hockey League. They swept Portland 4 games to nothing. No surprise there. You want to address Moose Jaw taking the big prize?
I don't want to say no surprise, because I think, as we all know here, Portland was a heck of a hockey club. I think they got hit with the injury bug a little bit late, like we were talking about off air. And that could be the ultimate equalizer sometimes. That all 4 of those games, yes, it was a 4-0 sweep, but they were all 1-goal games, I believe. And I think in 3 of them, they were either won in overtime or in the last 5 minutes of the 3rd period. So we could be easily sitting here talking about Portland going to the Memorial Cup, but we played Moose Jaw 1 time this year, late in the year, and you could see that they were going to be a problem in the league. They had I want to say it's four first-round picks in the NHL. So I think they're going to represent our league well at the Memorial Cup. Hopefully this is the year that the Western Hockey League gets back the Memorial Cup, but they're a heck of a hockey team, but so is Portland.
So is Portland, and we played Portland pretty good this year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's if there's anything as a moral victory. I remember I went to the Portland game towards the end of the year, and we played straight up with these guys right through 3 periods.
Yeah.
They beat us, but they didn't beat us.
100%, yeah, they were a good club. That was it was kind of interesting throughout the year. They actually battled injuries all year long. They lost their goalie for about 2 months. They got him back. Then in the playoffs, it's hard. You know, you could be playing 7 games in 10 days. So a lot of times it's a team that can, withstand the injury bug and stay away from that. And it kind of just felt like all year with Portland, they were an amazing hockey team that just never got over the injury bug. They'd get this player back, and then they lose this player. Then they get that player back, and they lose this player. And but you got to give them a ton of credit for them to get to the finals. And really, we could be, like I said, sitting here talking about Portland being the champions of the Western Hockey League, if not for a couple of bounces and a couple of injuries.
That's hockey, my friend. Yep. We would be. Chris wears a lot of hats, and he has a lot of responsibilities. But perhaps the biggest one of all of them is you're in charge of getting beds for players. This is your MOVIAC, your department, billet families. It's always an issue every year. This year, maybe a little more acute because it's not just the Wenatchee Wild, the varsity, if you will. It's the junior clubs. Talk about billet families and talk about the need for that. This is big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's everything. You can't have junior hockey without billet families. I am excited. We do have Hunter McLeod, who is now the billet coordinator, but it's a full team effort. Myself, Troy Mick, Hunter, Bliss, everybody in the organization understands the importance of it. We all work hand in hand together with it. But it is, we're a little bit unique that we have the 2 academy teams, as you mentioned as well. So most junior hockey teams are looking for 25 beds for the junior hockey team. We're looking for 65. Because we do have the 2 academy teams as well, and we want to give those kids the best environment to play in as well. And so when you're looking for 65 beds, and we've been extremely fortunate that we've had some billet families for 16 years. They've been doing it since year 1. And
why? Why do they keep doing it year after year?
Because they love it. Because it's an experience. You're going to add a family member for life. That's the biggest thing I can tell people when you do billeting. It's because you are going to add a family member for life. There are their perks, and yes, you get paid and all those sort of things to house these players. But you're doing this to give this kid an opportunity to fulfill hopefully his hockey goal, his schooling goals, and you're going to make a family member for life. I tell the same story every year, but there are people that I live with when I was 18 years old. I'm not going to age myself here, but that was a long time ago, as you can see. And I'm still in contact with them. We play in Victoria. I reached out to them when we went to Victoria this year that it's the truest statement that there is no junior hockey, there is no Wenatchee Wild without great billet families. And we've just, now that we've been here 16, 17 years, in 10 years, a lot can change for these families. So we do have turnover every year, and we're so grateful for the families we do have, but we're always looking for more, and it's definitely a need, just like it is every summer this year.
Well, I'll tell you a story. About a year ago, I was at Fred Meyer. Damn it, I told Fred Meyer I wouldn't mention their name. Too late. I was at Fred Meyer, and I was talking to one of the billet families who I've known for years. What are you doing this weekend? And they said, we're flying to Minneapolis. I said, what are you going to Minneapolis? He says, our billet kid that we had 7 years ago is getting married, so we're going to his wedding. I thought, now that's cool.
It's unbelievable.
That's cool.
I get that call. I get at least one of those calls a summer where whether you're just checking in or you get a FaceTime and it's a player that used to play here, and you're exactly right. They're at a wedding, they're at a graduation, they're at the birth of a child.
Well, not in the room. I mean,
no, they're there celebrating.
I mean, there are billet families, and then there are billet families. That's a little much.
But yeah, I mean, those are honestly the stories that mean the most.
So if we planted this seed, and I hope we did, first of all, what does that entail? If you're out there watching, you say, I think I might be interested in hosting a Wild player or 2, if I got an extra bedroom or 2 and a full refrigerator. What does being a billet family and hosting a Wild player entail from the family's perspective?
So you need to have obviously an open room for that player to live in. it's the biggest misconception is that you can't leave all winter, and that is absolutely not true. We have a lot of temporary families that can't do it full time, but they're around in case a billet family. You know what? My daughter's got a hockey tournament in Seattle this weekend. We're not going to be here. You call us, we move your player. But the biggest thing is to have an open room and just honestly a spot in your heart to help these kids fulfill their dreams. And I can't reiterate enough, you are going to make a new family member for life.
That's the biggest perk, but there are other little perks.
Yeah, you get a monthly stipend. Everybody gets a monthly stipend. There's ticket benefits that come with it as well for the Wild games. We have billet barbecues. We have billet appreciation nights. We have a lot. We try to get all the families together a few times a year to celebrate them and just to check in with them. But the biggest reason you're doing it is you're going to help one of these athletes fulfill help fulfill their hockey dream. And so an open room, hopefully a good family meal at night. You're not required to make 3 meals a day by any means.
No, and they're not around a lot. I mean, they're going to, yes, they're hockey, but there's hockey practice, there's hockey camp, there's school.
100%.
They're not like just always at your house.
No, they're on a very, very strict schedule, whether you have a development player or a Wild player. Like you said, they're either at school, they're at practice, they're at the gym. We do a lot in the community where they're at public events, not to mention at least, it pretty much equals out to at least 2 weekends a month. We're on the road, so we are gone a fair amount, and we do keep them very busy throughout the day. We're preparing them for real life. After, whether they're NHL players or whatever they're doing next, they're going to have a schedule, and so they're pretty much busy by 8 a.m. and we try to keep busy till about 5
These guys are really good about matching the right player to the right family. It's not like, here you go. They don't pull them out of a hat. You do your homework, and this person this player would be a good fit for this family for reasons A, B, C, and D. They know what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's a questionnaire that the players fill out: likes, dislikes, foods you like, allergies. Do you prefer a home with kids? Do you prefer a home without kids? Are you allergic to animals? They answer all those questions, and we have the billet family fill out the exact same questionnaire. And it's not a perfect formula, but we've been pretty good and pretty fortunate that we do a good job matching them up. And again, Hunter does an incredible job for us doing that and matching up the player with the family so that we're putting like-minded people together. And again, it's there is no Wenatchee Wild without them. So. And
you become a hockey fan too.
Yeah, you will.
You become a hockey fan real quickly.
If you don't already love hockey, I'm sure you will. And you know what? It's great for a variety of different. Whether you're an empty nester or you have little kids yourself growing up, that they have a role model in the house to look up to, because these kids are all very passionate about their craft, and they're going to be good role models. They're going to show you or show your kid, what it takes to get to that level. And those, again, I look now, even in Waha, some of the people that became billets, and maybe their kid didn't even play hockey initially, but now their kids are growing up and they're coming through the program as members of Waha or whatever sport they play, baseball, basketball. It doesn't just have to be specific to hockey, that you're going to have that role model in the house to hopefully help them. Or like I said, if you're an empty nester, maybe your kids are away now and you got that extra bedroom in your house, that you're going to gain a family member for life. That's the one thing I want to
email Clarkie, call the Wild, 888-PUCK. They'll get you going, get that process started, because they're going to be in the big city here before you know it. Last question before I cut you loose. Stanley Cup playoffs, who do you like?
Oh, the Final Four, it could be anybody, but my gut tells me it's going to be Florida or Dallas.
Why Florida? I mean, they're good, but I'd much rather see the Rangers or even a Canadian team every once in a while.
Yeah, I just think that those are the two most complete teams that Florida can beat in a variety of ways.
And I like Dallas. They're good.
And Dallas, their head coach has been in the conference finals 5 of the last 6 years, so I think he's finally due to win one.
Chris Clark, everybody, affectionately known to everybody as Clarkie. It's good to see you. We get the Wenatchee Wild scheduled mid-July, roughly?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We're waiting now we have to wait for the NHL to announce their schedule.
That's true.
Because there's some teams that share buildings with NHL teams. So.
That's true. Edmonton and Calgary, we're looking at you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Hi, I'm Julie, and I'm the Animal Care Coordinator here at the Humane Society. This is Bel Air. She's about 5 years old. She's a Husky mix, and she's been doing really well with the dogs so far up at Playgroup. She's kind of our dream dog. She has the beautiful heterochromia eyes, one blue, one brown. She came to us as an owner surrender, so she's been available for adoption, and she'd be the perfect hiking buddy. We took her on a walk the other day on the loop trail, and she met a couple of nice dog friends, and she got to hang out and play in the water. She loved that. So we know that from her owner surrender form, she's not good with chickens or cats or small animals. But we do know that she's good with kids and other dogs, so she would be a perfect family dog because she is more on the calm side of things for Huskies. So she does know some commands, like she knows sit, and she knows spin. We are working on lay down, and she's very treat motivated as well, so she would do great with somebody who wants to continue her training. So she's not really interested in toys. She's more interested in people and getting her belly rubs. They're kind of her favorite thing, as you can see. So she's been here for a few months now. It is a little bit harder to find a home for bigger dogs, but she's wonderful. She has great kennel presence as well, just very calm. So if Bel Air seems like the perfect dog for you, please come down to the Humane Society. We are open 7 days a week from 12:30 to 6 o'clock. And on Wednesdays, we're also open for appointment, and you can make an appointment online.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Pause for Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Localtel cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Oh, look at this.
This would look really good in the kitchen.
Or the living room. Just look at it.
New windows are a work of art. Upgrade your home's windows and get cash back from Chelan County PUD.
This is gonna look great in the house.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
All right, before we get to the forecast for this 3-day weekend, a friendly programming reminder. It is a 3-day weekend, which means there'll be no Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on Monday, Memorial Day. The evening news will not air as well. We're going to have special programming throughout the course of the day on Monday. And if you, as a tradition, watch the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, you might make other plans because I checked and it's supposed to rain cats and dogs in Indianapolis on Sunday. God didn't make little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. Just wanted to let you know. From the National Weather Service, no rain here, but temperatures below normal. We're going to have high clouds most of the day today. Filtered sunshine, if you will. Humidity is going to be up there a little bit. We'll get up to about 68 for the afternoon high. Our normal high is 74. 46 for the overnight low tonight. Saturday, nothing but sunshine, but a little on the breezy side. And we're going to cool down even more. We're only going to get to 64 On Saturday, it's going to be windy Saturday afternoon and windy Saturday evening with an overnight low of 44. Then we rebound rather nicely. Sunday, sunshine, very little wind to speak of. We're going to be pushing 70 for the afternoon high. Still below normal, of course, for this time of the year. For the holiday proper, lots of sunshine and a high of 74. All right, that's it for us. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Hello, North Central Washington, and welcome to the season premiere of Season 11 of Network TV, the show that brings you to the forefront of technology, education, and innovation, right here from the heart of the region. I'm David Mabee, your host and the marketing director of NCW Tech Alliance, where our mission is to synergize people with technology resources, nurturing entrepreneurs, and bolstering STEM education throughout North Central Washington. Our nonprofit has been the catalyst for innovation and growth for over 2 decades, especially in the educational sector. Annually, we orchestrate over 40 programs and events, each designed to be a valuable resource for our community. At NCW Tech Alliance, we're committed to expanding digital and technological skill access to all youth in our region, a commitment we uphold through our leadership in